And I was wondering what your advice is to young girls who struggle with eating disorders or anything that has to do with body dysmorphia, and what people say to them.
So what I love about the world right now is there are so many, the landscape is changing. Have we noticed that? In media, in Instagram, influencers, everywhere. I also have found people in media who I can relate to, and not only relate to, but also be inspired by because of the way they own their body. Listen, I don't think that people who are overweight are the only ones that have problems with the way they look. But what I think that we need to do, and this is what I do on a regular basis, is that I practice. I practice kindness to myself, and that kindness is not only verbal, but it's also active. So I treat myself nicely with good food, by surrounding myself with people who make me feel good about myself, by creating boundaries for people who are not bad, but just don't make me feel good about myself. I exercise. All of these things are not so that I look a certain way, they're so I feel a certain way. Because I don't think that the feeling of body confidence looks one shape. So my recommendation has been and will continue to be is look in the mirror and use your name and tell yourself that you love yourself. Over and over and over. And I know that's hard, and I know that that's uncomfortable, and I know that you might not believe it at first, but eventually you will believe it. And instead of looking at your body and pointing to the things that you don't like about yourself, look at the things you do like about yourself. Everybody has something. Or if you don't, look at something that somebody has said that they like about you. Like, I think that you have a beautiful smile. And I can see it right now, just barely because these lights are bright. So take that and use that every day. The reality is, nobody is always going to be happy with the way you look. That's an inside job, right? So it's up to you to look at yourself and go, this is me, this is my meat suit for literally ever, and you gotta make peace with it, okay? I could stand here all day and tell you how beautiful you all are, and it won't make a lick of difference unless you tell yourself. Self-love literally is inside job, and you've got to do it yourself. I'm here to help you, but I can't do it for you, right?
I was once advised, possibly by you, that also when I look in the mirror and I can't see anything I like, what does it do for me? These hands touch my child. This stomach processes food. These legs get me up on stage. Like, these are experiences as opposed to a visual endpoint. So often I focus on the energy and the accomplishments and the feelings instead of the appearance, because the appearance is just for a second, but an experience is for the rest of my life. So yeah.
It's funny how we, and I don't know if men can speak on this, but my experience is that as a woman, I have a tendency to sometimes speak of myself like I'm not in here. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, like this isn't me.
Like sometimes I occasionally grab my feet, because something with my feet, I think it has to do with grounding, but grabbing my feet weirdly pulls me back into myself to remind me that I'm in this body. And so when I talk to myself, I'm talking inside this body. So it's kind of funny how we all kind of look outside of our bodies and think that that's a thing to judge. When we are in here, it is, man, it is up to us. This is it. This is it. I mean, that is it. Be kind to yourself, you guys, every day. Every fucking day.
Hi, my question is actually for Kim, but if Brianna wants to answer.
I'm taking this question now.
Get it?
I can't remember what episode it was, but back when Crowley was on a date with Jody, Do you think if Crowley didn't try to kill Jody at the time, would they have gone on to continue dating and whatnot?
No, but they would have fucked.
I smell a spin-off.
Yeah, I don't think he's the kind of guy that she could have stomached being with for an extended period of time. Because he's Crowley. And she's Jody. But yeah, they would have had some noisy sex.
I feel like Crowley's a person that likes to be dominated. Does anybody else get that impression? Yeah. I feel like that. He's lazy. Okay, yes. Nothing.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, sorry if I keep looking out into the crowd. I'm looking for my mom, but I keep remembering that she's having a diabetic problem right now. But my question is...
Wait, who else? Who else do you know out there?
No one.
Okay, wait. You, right there. Go give her a hug. Here, give her a hug. Now, I understand I'm asking you to put your camera down. Wait. I will come over and I will pose for you because you've got a camera. Please go hold her hand while she asks this question. Thank you. Okay. There you go. What's your question?
My question is, what were you guys' first impressions of each other?
Oh, this is a funny one.
Okay, you got it. You don't have to stay there the whole
It's a great
entire
question.
time. You good? Okay.
I had heard a lot about Kim and being kind of the new character on the show. And when I met Kim, it was only my second episode, and I'd never been on a TV show twice. Ever. So I was so fucking excited. So I'd heard a lot about Kim, and from the boys, from the director, from the producers, and so I really wanted to make a good impression. So I'm driving up. This was for Hibby 911. I'm driving up in the big van that they drive us to set with, and I see Kim step out of the lodge where we're filming, and I went, Kim! Kim! It's Briana! Nice to meet you! So excited! And they were like, we're shooting right now. I didn't see the cameras. I don't understand television that well. At that time, anyway. So that was my first impression. I think it went well. And then part two of that was when we were filming our first scene together. It was the scene when our characters actually meet, when she's signing in at the convention. And, Donna's offering her a lollipop and all that stuff, right? So I had business, it was a table, business here, and I was struggling to hit my mark. And I went, oh, motherfucker! And I went, oh, sorry, I swear a lot. She laughed and laughed and laughed. She said, oh, you don't know me yet. No, we became fast friends over cookies and coffee.
It was, and then then we had cookies. I will give you the non-funnier, ugliness that is Kim. I had also heard about Briana. I'd heard how funny she is, and how pretty she is, and how much everybody loves her so much. We love her the best. We love her better than you. She's gonna take your place. You should probably go die. I'm pretty sure that's what they said. Yeah, pretty sure. So I was like, hi? Yeah. And then, that talent I was talking about, I really wish I had. I do have it sometimes. Little voice in the head was like, hey, you're just scared. And I was like, yeah? I said, yeah. But she looks really cool, and you might want to be her friend. And I was like, yeah. And she likes cookies. Let's go
It was funny. I remember one day we were shooting. We were talking about the conventions because I hadn't started the circuit yet. And we had lunch in your trailer. You were like, "Come, I'll tell you all about them." Because you were so sure that I was going to be replacing you. I remember that, and I remember going, "Maybe they'll just put us both on stage at the same time." And you were like, "Never gonna happen." Never. And so. Yeah.
And thus began our theme song as a duo.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe this will happen. It'll never happen. What time do I show up?
Still got it. Great question.
Thank you. Wait, do you want us here? Hold on. What are we doing? Are we being...
Thank you.
Hi. My question is, what is the most interesting thing you've had to learn to do for a role?
For a role?
I mean, fight training. Fight training for me, I'd never done fight training before, and I love boxing, and so I was like, I will love fight training. Fight training is a very different animal because it's not boxing. I mean, we did do some boxing, but it's not about strength. It's about choreography, yeah. So it was very challenging. I'd never done that before, and now I'm glad I have that under my belt. And we got to do jujitsu, I remember. This was for the Wayward Sisters pilot. We trained for about 3 months. And that was super duper, if I can use that cuss word. I can't think of anything else that I've done that was kind of... I had to wear an eye patch once in a play, and that was very challenging. It doesn't sound that hard, but it is so hard for the entire play, and I had to serve an entire meal and play cards, and it's hard. It's very hard.
Yeah, with no depth perception.
Exactly.
Yeah. I had to sword fight in a play once. I have had to speak Chinese. Yeah, get them off. Speaking Chinese. Wait, what's this though? If it's a part of your shoe, don't lose it.
No, I don't know what that. It was from a stool. We officially busted a stool.
We broke a stool.
Yeah, we're so rock and roll.
Yes, the breaking furniture. Speaking Chinese, sign language. I did a play where I did a lot of sign language. That was really, no. And I talk with my hands anyway, so it came very naturally to me. That's my, what do I wish I knew that I don't know? At some point, I will learn more sign language.
Oh, I love that. I do that with you. That's awesome.
So I understand, because I'm not good at it. Yeah, I'm sure there were more interesting things, but I've been doing this for 30 years. I don't remember.
Nothing shocks us anymore.
We're
like,
yeah.
What? How much do I get paid? All right, fine.
Yeah. I do remember there was a stunt once that was very interesting. This was the most, I think this may be the most interesting thing I ever had to do. It was on Supernatural, and I got clotheslined. So like, I'm running and somebody does this to me and I went flying back. And the way they do it is they put you in a vest, very sturdy vest, that has a leash attached to it. I'm sure there's a more articulate term for it, but it felt like a leash. And then they take the leash and they screw it in the ground, really deep. Then they put a mat out and they go, run. Yeah, run. Harder, faster. So I ran and ran and ran and ran and ran and ran and oof. And it looked like I'd gotten clotheslined, and it was really cool. So that was fun. Super high tech.
Thank you. I wish we had cooler things to say. We should make something up. Nope, not gonna. Hi.
Hi there. How are you doing?
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thanks for
I love
asking.
you guys.
We love you.
So this is my second con. I first went last year in Denver, and you guys were awesome.
Thank you.
I enjoyed the whole experience. Real quickly, I just want to tell you that you guys are such an inspiration, and that whole weekend was a big part of catalyst for change in my life. So thank you so much for what you do and who you are and how honest you guys are on stage and the things that you say to us. I struggle a lot with fear, and when I got autographs with you guys, I told Kim, I said thank you for being who you are, you know, because you're not afraid what people think. And you told me, you said, you know what, I'm going to tell you a secret. I do care what they think, but you know what? I act like that in spite of it. And I repeat that to myself every time I get afraid of what people think about me. And it's been a big part of my self-care. So
Good.
Thank you guys so much. And you know, you talked about body image and that, and again, females, a lot of us, we struggle with this, doesn't matter what size we are. And, oh, sorry.
You're killing it. You're doing great.
I just wanted to ask you, this is my birthday, by the way, on Monday.
Happy
So this is my
birthday.
birthday thing that I'm doing is this weekend. And when did you really start to feel that shift within yourselves? Like when you started stepping out of that, you know, oh, I hate myself, or oh, I can't do that. Because those are the biggest things I struggle with.
You know what? It was not a linear. It was not a moment. I just noticed it more and more. For me, it's a pendulum. Because if I think of it as linear, then every time I experience something that makes me uncomfortable, or I think I've already learned, you should already know this, Kim, you suck. And every time I'm back there, then I feel like, well, I'm not progressing. But it isn't. Somebody once told me that we don't move like this through life. We move like this. So we go on a wheel, it's cyclical. So even though I feel like, oh my God, I'm here again, I'm not here again because it's right now. So I have to have patience and love for wherever I am. And letting that be okay. So there wasn't any aha moment of my life. There's just been more and more space between breaths where I can give myself the love that I deserve.
Notice, so for me, definitely self-confidence, just as Kim was saying, is not, I think of it as a ladder. I always think of it as a ladder. You know, I'm more and more confident, and that's not how it works. Something will trigger me, or an event will happen that will cause me to fall a little bit, and that is okay. It is okay to be fucking sad. It is okay to have hard times in your life. What's important is that you keep going through it, right? Like you said, you didn't want things to scare you. You didn't want to stop doing things because you were scared, and I think that's incredible. It's hugely important that we continue to do things in spite of fear, because fear will be there. It will be there. And if we practice self-love, and self-love is another thing, as we were saying, is a daily practice. For me, it is a daily practice. It's a daily external. For me, I write every day, and I write things that I believe about myself, good and bad, but I always try to end it with, I'm love. I am love. So as long as I know that I am the love, I don't need it from other people. The less I need things, emotions, validation, things from other people, the more it's constantly available. Everything I have is here, but it is a muscle that I have to grow. It is a garden I have to water. Do you know what I mean? So keep doing that. Just keep practicing, keep watering your own garden, and try as hard as you can to not need things from other people, but to enjoy them from other people. And keep going.
Pranks or something on other cast members? If so, what were they and were they on?
Pranks! Drink! Only it's reverse, so make your friend give you booze. Well, we did, I don't know, have you seen all the gag reels? Okay, so the only prank I ever planned was one that made the gag reel, where I had a scene where I was doing dishes with Dean. Jody's doing dishes with Dean, and Briana was visiting set that day. So I actually talked to the director. I got his okay, because this is not my house, right? I don't get to walk in and change the music. So I had this idea, and I said, can we do this? And he said, yes, I'll set it up and we'll keep shooting it. So he told
lit it, and
oh yeah, no, he lit it. He was prepared. He was prepared to direct this prank, and Briana was on set. So we finished the scene, which is like, we're doing dishes and having a moment, and then I was like, so could you finish up the dishes, because I have a date? And Jensen, who is the consummate, like, he loves improv, and he is
the more he can be funny, like, he gets annoyed because the last couple episodes we've done together, I've been serious, and he's like, fine. He just wants to fuck around all the time.
He's a generous actor. So when you throw him something like this, he isn't like, this isn't in the script. He's like, really? You have a date? With who? And then Brianna walks around the corner and like puts her arm around me and throws colossal shade at him. And then we walk out, and Jensen, being the brilliant actor that he is, full on puts a button on the scene by turning back towards camera with his dish rag and going, so it was more a for the fuck of it prank. It didn't turn out like he was like, oh, I got pranked, but it was fun and it amused me greatly.
And they don't prank me, they just fuck around with me. Or they love trying to make me corpse or, you know, laugh in the middle of a scene, which they've succeeded at. Makes me so angry. But yeah, the last couple episodes I've done, the last 3, because Wayward Sisters, we literally had one, I had one wordless scene with them, and then Breakdown was very like sad, and the last episode we did, you know, I thought Dean and I were gonna fuck around more during, or Jensen and I, Dean and I thought Jensen and I were gonna fuck around more with the burger scene, but we were so cold, and we just couldn't eat any more burgers. And so we didn't fuck around that much. So yeah, I haven't fucked around with them in a long time.
Here's the thing, and this is just my experience, but in my brain, because I've been doing this a long time and I come from the theater and I am fully aware of of the trajectory they have to get where they are. There is a power dynamic that means if I fuck around with them when it's the wrong time, I have fucked around with a lot of really important stuff. So I don't do that. Because part of something, they don't need anything from me, I'm just Kim. So something I can give to them because I love them so much is to take care of their process and not insert my funny little ideas into it. That's just what I do. And on the flip side, when they are in the mood to fuck around, they're already fucking around. I don't get to come up with any pranks because they're already like having fun. So I take their lead. I very rarely, if ever, will insert myself into their process because I really love them and I really want to support them. And all it would take is one time when they're not in a headspace that I could actually hurt someone. Just for a second. And they're sturdy, hardy, amazing human beings. And they get it. But I don't even want to take that risk. So it's just, I don't mess with them because it's something I feel like I can offer them as their fellow actor.
Thank you.
And also because they're better at it than I am and they would kick my ass.
Hi, I love both of you. My question is for Kim, but Bree, feel free to answer too.
Thank you.
At Nashville, you terrified me, Kim. You said we had not seen the worst supernatural deaths yet. Have we seen it now, or should we still buckle up?
We saw it. Yeah, I was asked in Nashville, what death upset Jodie the most and what death upset Kim the most. And at the time, I said Jodie was probably most upset by either Kaya because her child Claire was so wounded by that, and Bobby, that one upset Jodie. And I said I was not willing to tell you which death upset Kim the most. And yes, that has been seen. And I will not tell you what it was because I know there are people who maybe haven't seen everything yet. But yes, that death has happened. You're welcome.
Was it Charlie? I'm real behind.
It's me. It happened off screen and no one's ever going to talk about it. But
You
yeah,
died.
Jodie's dead.
No, you
I've
almost
not
died in that scene with Crowley, right?
I almost died, and they didn't tell me that I was still alive, so I was very snarky about it on set. They're like, that was really good, but you didn't hit the mark. Could you do it again? I would be like, I would, but I think I'm dead. You're not dead! Doesn't say that in the script anywhere. I don't have any episodes coming up. Maybe I am. And then I died in a psychic prediction that Patience saw. Patience had a vision that I died, but she like warned me.
She was wrong, girl.
Got out of it.
Sweet.
Like a ninja.
Fucking Patience.
Yeah.
She's terrible.
I will tell you one of the secrets about Wayward that never came out, that if it had gone forward, they were going to try to figure out how to unpsychic her or expand her psychic, just because 1 episode, 2 episodes of using the word had a vision.
Yeah, we're gonna make that a drinking
like,
game,
we are
right?
fucking sick of this word already. What else do you say? Had a prediction? That doesn't sound very...
Had a dream.
Had a feeling, had a sense,
dream.
had a... Yeah, so we were all sitting around trying to come up with synonyms for
Had a thought.
vision. Had a thought. I had a feeling. I had a get down. There's a bullet coming at your head.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing? My name's Ryan.
Hey, Ryan.
How you doing? What are your, how do you psych yourselves out for your roles before you get on stage? Like, what's your pre-game ritual? Do you, like, listen to Metallica or something?
For the conventions?
What's that?
For the conventions?
No, just for on the show in general.
How do we psych ourselves up
Yeah.
to get ready to act?
To go into character, yes.
A nap? Probably check Twitter. It really depends. It really depends on what the episode is. If it's an episode like Breakdown, where I have to cry a lot in the episode, I am probably doing... Lots of actors have... Some actors don't have processes, and some do. I kind of have one, which is I usually use for anything where I need to really externally emote, whether it's anger or grief or whatever, which is to do, I do prep in my trailer, and I use a method where I go, okay, what is Donna feeling in this scene? And what does she want? What is her objective? And then if she's feeling sad, if she's feeling alone, then I go, okay, what does Briana know about that? And then I use that, I hook that emotion into a word in the script so that I say that word, I know this is weird, but I say that word over and over and over again in my trailer with the emotion that Briana thinks, and that, so when I say that word in the scene as Donna, my body impulsively goes into that emotion without having to think about it, so then I know it looks authentic. That's what works for me. Lots of actors have different ways, but mostly I sit around and do nothing. Because we wait a lot in film television.
I run my lines a lot, preferably with the person I'm in the scene, because what I found is the less I have to think about the words coming out of my mouth, the more I can listen to the words coming out of their mouth and just respond authentically. And it's become a journey for me, acting has, of simplifying my process. So now if I can authentically listen to what someone is saying to me and trust that the words coming out of my mouth are probably the ones that were written, I will hopefully tell the story that the character is supposed to be telling. So yeah, I just run my lines. Like, there's a lot of other shit that happens, but right before I go on, I just make sure I know the words.
It really is a hard job because they don't give them to you that far in advance. It's remarkable watching Jared and Jensen learn their lines. They just go, okay, let's go. And I'm like, I've had that script for 2 weeks and I'm still like, okay, I think I'm ready. Yeah, it's a tricky thing to memorize your lines. Anyway, great question. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Ryan.
Hi, this is for Kim. I wanted to know how much of a difference playing Judy on Supernatural and playing the character in Criminal Minds. How different was it?
Criminal Minds.
How is it? What are the similarities and what are the differences?
What's your character's name in Criminal Minds?
Linda Barnes.
Linda. Oh, it was so tricky to play Linda in Criminal Minds. You know what? She is a Virgo, so she likes things just so. And I remember when I came on set, I was a guest star on the set, and that show stars actors such as
Timothy Gibson,
Joe Montana. He is a real piece of work, am I right?
Tamara Moore.
Every day he was like, hey, Kim. And I was like, Lay off, Joe. A little too friendly there, Joe. He got the hint. I would go into the makeup trailer, and the makeup ladies would just be in awe of me. They would look at my skin like it was sweet, sweet porcelain. Then they would apply 2 to 3 layers of fake lashes. And I would say, ladies, that's too much. Calm down. I never learned their names because I don't care enough about them. And then I would proceed to work. And my character, she was very important. She owned a dog school. And all kinds of dogs. Not just one kind, all kinds of dogs. I know, right? And the funny thing was that she didn't like dogs. She did not like dogs. And so she would run this dog school, and everybody hated her so much because she was so mean to the dogs, and yet they'd keep coming because they wanted their dogs to win awards. And Linda would come in with her eyelashes a-flapping, and she would say, "Your dog's a piece of shit."
That's alarmingly close to exactly what happened. Only not at all. That's hilarious. I love the persona of Kim the actor. Like, Kim the actor is really like, she knows her shit.
People like her.
People like her a little too much. I'm glad she's got solid boundaries. Like, she has to, you lay off, you shut up, stop slapping my ass.
Everybody's so, like,
they're
really
groping
inappropriate with Kim.
Kim the actor gets groped a lot. She gets hit on a lot. How does Kim the actor, I'm proud of her for establishing boundaries.
Proud of her too.
Kim the actor knows she has good fucking skin and knows when she's never gonna see anybody again, so why bother learning their names? God bless Kim the actor. Criminal Minds was the hardest I have ever had to act in my life. And I mean hard. I made very specific physical choices that were different than anything I'd ever made. The character was different than anyone I ever have been. And it was hard because they were all so nice and I had to be such a bitch. I kept apologizing every time they'd cut. I'd be like, "I'm so sorry, was that too much?" And they were like, "No, bring it, more." Whereas Supernatural, definitely, Jodie's a